This is episode 200 of Weekly Dose of Aviation, so I gathered the best videos from the series and put them together in this special episode for you guys to enjoy. This DHL Boeing 757 broke in half after sliding off the runway as it made an emergency landing in Costa Rica. The plane suffered a failure of its hydraulic system, but luckily no one was injured. This plane almost hitting people while landing at St. Bartholomew's Airport. These two pilots attempted to swap planes mid-air by both of them jumping out and landing inside the other plane. One of the pilots managed to do it while the second plane entered a spin. The second plane crashed to the ground while the pilot landed safely using a parachute. The stunt was done by Red Bull and luckily no one was injured. This pilot had to land on a busy highway after an engine failure. He managed to land in a curve and avoid the cars. This happened in North Carolina. This Airbus A319 had its engine cowl door rip off while taking off. The maintenance crew had only closed the cowling before takeoff, but didn't lock it. Luckily, no one was injured. This Boeing 727 pilot couldn't wait to retract the landing gear. It looks like he needed to do it to gain altitude. This Airbus A350 doing a touch and go because of wind shear. This Boeing 737 hitting a light pole while pushing back.
हम आपकी सुरक्षा और सेवा के लिए यहाँ मौजूद हैं, लेकिन आपसे निवेदन है सोशल डिस्टेंस पर रखने में हमारी मदद करें। जब तक जरूरी ना हो अपनी सीट पर ही बैठे रहें। सबकी सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए और डीजीसीए के निर्देशों के अनुसार
This helicopter struck the fence with its tail rotor. This trailer getting blown over by a Boeing 777 jet blast. This was done as a test and no one was injured. This plane helping out with a truck fire. This Boeing 777 in Hong Kong nearly caught on fire as the cargo loader burst into flames right next to it. This military plane flying dangerously low. This plane struck its wing while landing at an air show in Germany.
Auf jeden Fall. Und damit bitte auch eine Warnung, Sie haben gerade...
This military Airbus A330 was forced to land after its left aerial refueling hose failed to retract. this Boeing 727's tail suddenly fell off. Luckily, no one was injured, this Cessna doing an extremely low pass. This Boeing 777 tried to land in stormy weather but had to abort and go around. This helicopter struck and broke an antenna on top of a roof. The helicopter seemed to be okay, but the antenna not so much. This Airbus A320 flying really close to the ground, illegally fast, doing 350 knots. The typical speed limit below 10,000 feet is 250 knots, but according to the pilots, they had permission to go faster. This Boeing 737 seems to be in a rush, retracting its landing gear as soon as it lifts off the ground and then banking left. This Boeing 737 pilot really wanted to take the first exit after landing, using full brakes to make it. It still wasn't enough, so they decided to make a U-turn on the runway. This helicopter dropping a car in Iceland. This Cessna experienced a ground loop while landing at an air show. Drifting a Boeing 777 is something that you probably haven't seen before, until this test pilot wanted to see what would happen if you applied full rudder and tried to make it slide. The plane actually drifted, but quickly straightened back out. This fighter jet being chased by another fighter jet. This is known as a dogfight, and you can see how the jet that's being chased is deploying flares to avoid getting shot by missiles. This was at an airshow in Sweden, so luckily they weren't actually fighting and both of the jets were just creepins. This airport got hit by a sandstorm that moved planes. This Airbus A300 braking as hard as possible, causing smoke to come out of the brakes. this small plane taking off from another plane mid-air. This Croatian Air Force pilot flying close to the ground. This Airbus A320 landing with its nose gear pointing the wrong way, sending out sparks as it touched down. Luckily, no one was injured. This Airbus A380 landing hard. This plane taking off straight towards a landing plane. These two Black Hawk helicopters crashed during a training exercise in Utah.
Oh, that one just crashed. Holy shit, it just crashed. I know.
The helicopters belong to the Utah National Guard, and luckily no one was injured. This is how two helicopters would drop soldiers into an active battlefield. Luckily, the shooting is not real, and this was a practice. This is how doing a barrel roll looks from a pilot's perspective. This Turkish firefighting plane struck the treetops while dumping water. You can see how tree debris starts raining down, but luckily no one was injured. This person stopped on the side of the road when they noticed a jet dropping flares above them. This Airbus A330 had to make an emergency landing after a problem with its left engine. You can see that only the right engine was used for reverse thrust. These Boeing 737 pilots taking off like a fighter jet, resulting in a bank angle warning.
Bank angle, bank angle, bank angle, bank angle.
These F-35s all lined up on the runway at the same time. This is called an elephant walk, and these jets belong to the Republic of Korea Air Force. This Airbus A340 doing a very steep takeoff at an air show in Portugal. The C-130 flying with its door open. This plane made an emergency landing on a highway, and now it has to take off. This plane suddenly nosedived, and the reason was to drop fire retardant.
Pero estaba bien cerquita, traen del avión grandísimo encima.
Oh, wow. Oh, Lord.
Pasando los buzones y estoy yo.
This formation flight splitting up. This Piper plane had a bouncy landing. This EasyJet plane being escorted by a fighter jet after a false bomb threat. Luckily, nothing happened and no one was injured. This jet blast nearly caused someone to tip over with their scooter. These two jets flying really close to each other. This Boeing 737 flying through some turbulence, causing the wing to flex. This plane raising dust behind it. This tug hit a plane engine. These people standing too close to a plane dropping water. This small stunt plane flying close to the ground. That's it for this episode. Subscribe to watch more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.